So welcome to Security Over Coffee. This is part 2 to a 2-part series in talking about those things that are out of place, that are kind of funky in regard to security both at home and in your business. So just to get back to your question earlier about, what am I doing with an Hawaiian shirt on in February in central Pennsylvania, and also my Sperry shoes.
Which you wear on your boat.
Which I do wear on my boat,
as a matter of fact. You don't usually see those until at least May.
No, you don't. So
let's be serious.
Okay.
Anybody who knows you knows you are not a Hawaiian shirt guy.
That is true.
You are Mr. Tailored, pressed shirt, always looking just absolutely the sharpest.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're one sharp-dressed metrosexual.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. So it's about things that are out of place. I mean, obviously Hawaiian shirts in central Pennsylvania in February are out of place, but what are the other kinds of things that are out of place? And, one of the things that that recently happened personally for me is with my mom and dad, who are older and retired. They received a phone call at 9 o'clock at night from Comcast.
Yes. And
Comcast basically said that if you don't go ahead and give us your credit card number over the phone, we're going to shut your cable off.
Yes.
After a lot of questions and a lot of badgering of my father, I find out that yes, in fact, he gave his credit card number over the phone. So I got involved. We were able to get a hold of Comcast. We realized it was a total scam and it didn't happen. The other thing that's out of place this time of year is you're getting an email from the IRS.
Or a text message. My mom got a text message that said it was from the Department of Justice.
So, either clicking on that text message or clicking on that email because the IRS has some kind of gimmick that they want to do your taxes for you for free.
Oh, the big one is, we're going to seize your bank accounts.
Right.
That completely strikes fear into people, and especially older people.
Right. So what you have to do is you have to continue to be vigilant. You have to continue to look at your inbox as an area of risk that you're personally responsible for managing. And it's not just about your inbox at work. Mm-hmm. It's your inbox at home. I went to an event a couple days ago. The Pennsylvania Chamber put on an economic forum.
Yeah, they do great seminars.
And, a big shout out to Sue Miller. She's, Sue Smith. See, I'm not the only one who screwed up
her name.
You screwed up her name. I screwed up her name. Sue, we love you.
We do love you, Sue. And I'm going to just start calling you Debbie Sue.
There you go. But one of the things was really interesting is Ron Plesko, who you know from KPMG, was there to talk about cyber liability and cyber risk. And it is so much more sophisticated than it was before.
Yes.
We have a brand new prince from Nigeria.
Really?
We do. Very, very eloquent young man. Speaks perfect English.
I wonder if I'm related.
Speaks perfect English. No typing errors. Perfect logos that look exactly like you would think that it was coming from American Express, that it's coming from Wells Fargo, that it's coming from anywhere that you can possibly imagine. Had an opportunity when I was sitting at the table to talk to a guy who owns a small business. It's a small family-owned business. And a few weeks ago, they got a phone call from American Express. And American Express told them that their account was deficient, and that in order for the account to be brought up to date, they needed to make a $10,000 wire transfer. And so the guy was obviously pretty upset about it, called his son in. His son contacted American Express.
The real American Express?
The real American Express.
Because we have American Express, we love it, and we use it for everything under the sun. So if we got something like that, or our office manager got something like that, we would be concerned.
We would be, and so was he. And so, his son called the real American Express.
Which is exactly what you should do.
And found out that it was a complete and total scam. So, the Hawaiian shirt is out of place. It's kind of goofy. But it really is, again, to bring your attention to the real issue, which is the security of the information, your own information, as well as your company's information. And realizing that whether you work in healthcare, you work in financial services, you work in the service industry, that the bad guys want this data because the bad guys know that this data is worth a lot of money. That's what this whole thing is about. When you really take a look at the issue and you trace it all the way to the end, it's all about money.
Yes,
It's no longer about
and extortion.
And extortion.
Which is about money ultimately, but
well,
yes,
when you start,
extortion.
you know, and so that brings up a topic around ransomware.
Yeah.
You know, and what does ransomware mean to people? You know, how does that affect somebody when they have either an email or some other kind of communication that says, "Oh, by the way, Mr. Hospital, we've encrypted all of your files."
Sure.
And you're not going to get any of your information back unless you give us a check for $375,000.
Well, I have it on really good authority because a little birdie told me that that is a topic that we are going to be covering in depth in future vlog material of our security over coffee. So one of the things, to take you back to the scams, you know, people our age are at a point in our lives where we are a sandwich kind of generation where we still have kids at home that we're looking out for and we're taking care of, and your kids' identities are also likely to be stolen where you don't even find out about it until they start to apply for loans for college. And we're also looking out for our parents. Now, I remember when my mother was of this generation where her biggest fear was mom eating properly?
Sure.
When she walked to the mailbox, had she fallen and maybe somebody didn't realize it for a while? Those were the biggest things you worried about. Today, I constantly, and my mother is just come an incredibly long way, and she has learned, she's got an eagle eye now. When people call her, when she gets emails, she picks up the phone, she sends me an iMessage, and she doesn't click on any of this stuff. But I continue to ask her to stay vigilant, and I tell her about these things because every time we get people vigilant and aware of something, the bad guys change it up.
Right.
And
They
so, you know, fear is a big thing. Now, the other thing too is I think is people that send text messages and send emails, because spoofing is such a big thing where a bad guy pretends to be somebody that you know. It's really important. I find myself now, like if I want to send you something, I put context in the email. You know, I send you an email with maybe an article that I think you should check out, and I say, Joe, remember in the staff meeting when we talked about X, Y, and Z, I found this article that I think is a nice tie-in. And I reference something that is so specific that the recipient has a really good probability of knowing. So
Right.
we as senders of email and senders of text, don't just send links to people
Right.
and assume that they will know, assume that it's okay. And the other thing I have found as treasurer of NAID is, and it's coming, it gets through, these things get through your email filter. Excuse me, I just spit on you.
That's all right.
These things come through the email filter where it looks like it's coming from the NAID CEO, Bob Johnson, to me, the treasurer, asking me to send wire transfers.
Sure.
Now, of course, NAID is not foolish enough to give me that kind of access to money.
Neither is Reclamere.
And Michelle Goodman is such a watchdog of NAID's funds that none of this is happening. But the email that I received from Bob looked so convincing that I texted him and said, Bob, I think maybe your email's been compromised. Now, fortunately, it wasn't. It's a new scam where people are the bad guys are going out to websites of nonprofits looking for board members and then the officers who they believe control the money. So those are just some of the newer scams. But right now, really be vigilant about anything that says it comes from the IRS. I promise you, when the IRS wants to contact you, it will be a sheriff at your front door or it will be a certified letter.
You know, the other thing that I had the experience with is this whole idea of the area of risk around social media. So I do my absolute best not to do the test on what kind of animal do I want to be, or
you have come a very long way.
I've tried, but I will tell you.
I would say if you did that test, we would find you were a hedgehog.
Probably
tenacious, strong.
I would probably agree with that, but. You know, I'm holding off on doing the test to see what character I would be in House of Cards, because on March 4th, House of Cards comes out for season 4.
Yes.
But what about LinkedIn? You know, we've gotten as professionals groomed to say that we parse out our personal things for Facebook,
yes,
and our professional things for LinkedIn.
Correct.
Okay. Well, in LinkedIn, there is a function where you can attach a file and send it to somebody.
Yes.
Makes sense, right?
Yes, it does.
Well, the fact of the matter is that that is another point of exposure and risk that people have to pay attention to.
Yes. One of the root causes for this is that people's LinkedIn account gets compromised. And the best way to stop this stuff, whether it's your Facebook account, whether it's your Instagram, whether it is your LinkedIn, is to turn on the two-factor authentication feature. We have it here at Reclamere on our Gmail. We have it on Facebook. We have it on LinkedIn. And more importantly, you need to make sure that's turned on all your social media accounts. That is really important. And here's the other thing. Set up the backup numbers, especially on your business social media accounts, so that if the person who manages your social media leaves, you can get the backup two-factor authentication sent to you as the business owner. That really creates a nightmare when that's not done. And so what that does is it basically takes your cell phone, you give it your cell phone number, and it will send you a text message of an extra code that you will type in when your computer doesn't recognize, is not recognized by LinkedIn or by Facebook. And this is just a fantastic measure. And I know people say, I don't want to type in 4 more digits. I'm telling you that the effort to type in those 4 extra digits versus calling all of your business colleagues with the embarrassment of, I was compromised, don't click on that thing that came from me. And especially if you're in an industry like security, or you're in banking, or you're an attorney, where people trust you, that can really have a negative PR connotation.
Sure.
And it happens to the very best of us. As always, thank you so much for joining us. And what we really strive to do is make sure that in each one of these, at least in each one of these episodes, that we're giving you information that you can take away. And I would really urge you, when you stop watching this, please turn on two-factor authentication. And I don't know, maybe Mike, maybe in YouTube, we can embed the link on this video where people can click on it and see exactly how to enable two-factor authentication on those. I think it'd be super useful.
I think so.
So,
well, I mean, and in summary, there's some things. Again, we encourage people that are either in the industry or interested in the industry to come to the NAIDS 2016 conference in Orlando, Florida. And
if you say that you saw this video vlog at NAID and come up to you or me, we will buy you a drink.
All right.
And not on the corporate card, because we have a policy against alcohol.
That's right.
We personally will buy you a drink.
Okay.
Of your choice.
That works for me.
Okay. Cool.
Obviously, besides my Hawaiian shirt, there are other things that are out of place, and we've talked about those today. But I think more importantly, it's really about being able to reach out and ask for help. So as you go through the video, obviously it's at length today, and I think for good reason. But do us a favor, please, and realize that if there's something in there that's really of interest to you, click the stop button and reach out to Angie or reach out to myself. Our contact information is all over the galactic universe. Send us an email, call us on the phone, however you want to reach out to Reclamere, and simply ask for that help. It doesn't cost you anything. You know, we don't have some kind of consultation fee to answer a question that you may have. And it's really about, again, sharing information with people, because what I will tell you that I learned from KPMG and Ron Plesko is this. The bad guys are only getting more sophisticated. They realize that they have to compete for the dollars that they have to steal, and they want to be able to improve their lifestyle 10x. So what we do in sharing information is all about being able to combat those people and making sure that whether we're talking about kids or we're talking about senior citizens or our businesses, we've just got to be more vigilant. So thanks a lot for paying attention today. Again, if we can help you, please reach out in the form of a phone call or an email, and we will be back in March.
Yes, we will.
See you all later.